We're gonna be building our very own Red Bull Soapbox car.
I haven't heard from the Red Bull team quite yet, but we don't have time to waste, so we have to go get our materials to build this Soapbox car. We did find some plastic barrels on Facebook Marketplace for free, so we have to go pick those up before someone else takes them. The guy who's giving us these barrels, his name is Ken, and I'm so glad that Ken came out and let us know that these barrels were used for detail products. So hopefully those chemicals don't burn me or give me a rash, because if you watched the last video, we submitted our sketch and had a barrel as the main body of our Soapbox car. I haven't really thought too far in advance, but I don't know if I have the correct tools to cut these barrels open. But that'll be a problem for later, because the next thing we need is a chassis. I wanted to find something like a go-kart or a four-wheeler that we could just tear apart so that we could use those pieces to build our Soapbox car. And that led us to a stranger's garage. This four-wheeler has so many problems. It has blown out shocks, a flat tire, broken transmission, mismatched parts, and electrical issues. If we wanted to use this four-wheeler, it would cost us so much more money down the line, and I am on a tight budget. But that did lead us to another stranger's house. This isn't a four-wheeler or a go-kart, but I think this pedal cart will do us just fine. After buying the pedal cart, my friend Matt and I did not hesitate to ride it around in their neighborhood. We probably look a bit ridiculous as two adults riding a little pedal cart in the street, but that's okay because we need to get this thing home.
Pedal cart acquired.
Since buying our pedal cart and our barrel, we actually got an email from Red Bull telling us if we got into the race or not. Here's the message that we got from Red Bull. Thank you for applying to Red Bull Soapbox Race Utah 2025. Unfortunately, we are unable to offer you the opportunity to compete in this year's event. Although your application didn't make it to our final round, we hope to see you at this year's Red Bull Soapbox event in Utah on Saturday, June 14th at the Capitol grounds. But I'm determined we are still gonna make this, and we're gonna see if they let us race it down the hill. So let's start building. This is just what I had in my fridge. Actually, Red Bull also sent me another email, and they gave me a free 4-pack of Red Bull, so I really appreciate that. For this pedal cart, I think I'm too tall to fit on it, but there's some screws that we're gonna move back and see if we can push the seat up there so that my extremely long legs can fit in this thing. This is what we look like before. What are you doing? They gotta see what it looks like. Oh no! That can't really fit, so moving back the seat is definitely gonna help. These are so rusty. I don't think it's supposed to do that. I want to get this seat all situated, and then we're gonna start cutting into our big barrel. We should try and take this thing to a hill nearby us and test it out before we start building the whole Soapbox car. But we're gonna cut into that barrel first, and then we'll take this thing down a hill somewhere and hopefully not die, because this thing does not have any suspension. Honestly, that's not too bad. So for our barrel, I don't have anything to legitimately cut it, but we're gonna make a big box right here. We might have to get another barrel and figure out how we can attach them together, but we're gonna make a big box right here so we can put this barrel on top of that cart. And then we'll make a hole in top so I can like see where I'm going. But I have no idea what we're gonna cut it with. I do have some drill bits and some knives. So I don't think that will work, but we're gonna try it. I'm just gonna take the biggest drill bit that I have and we're gonna drill some holes. Ooh, that actually went in really easily. I'm gonna see if a knife can cut through this barrel. I don't think so, because this thing is pretty heavy duty. I'll be back. It's not a big knife, but I guess we'll see if it works. Do not try this at home. Oh, we might have to run to Home Depot. Oh, this is rough. need to get some real tools. Oh, here we go, we're cooking. That smells really strong. That's the pink juice I was talking about. I definitely do not think this will be big enough for the cart or me, because I cannot fit into that. I might just go to Home Depot and buy something that can cut through this a lot easier. And that is exactly what we did. Home Depot had the perfect tools that were capable of completing this project quickly. But one problem, we're on a budget. So this is the tool we decided to go with.
I guess we'll see if it works.
And of course we had to get some zip ties because those will definitely come in handy. This is definitely not the tool to be using. Something like a Sawzall would have been perfect for this job, so we're gonna wear some safety glasses. This thing is made for cutting pipes, specifically putting this inside of a pipe, and then it spins around and cuts the pipe, but we're using it to cut a giant barrel. And so it's just like a regular drill bit with a saw on top. So here goes nothing. I was a little worried because at this point the saw was not working at all. But after a little bit of practice, we started to get somewhere. That actually worked a lot better than I thought. Definitely not the right tool to be using, but it cuts so much better than a regular drill bit. I wanted to get this pink liquid out of the barrel, so I grabbed myself an ice cream container and tried to pour as much in there as I could. After that, I wanted to wipe down the inside just to be extra safe because I will be sitting inside of this barrel and I do not want to get any chemical burns. Ooh, I might be stuck. Oh, the inside is really slimy on my legs. I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah, dog! Ah! I do think we'll have to use 2 barrels to be able to cover that whole pedal cart, but I'm really proud. If you ever do something like this, do not use this tool. It's not the right one, but it gets the job done. I think our barrel can fit like this. Take these 2 sides, we'll plop it on there, and then we'll get another barrel and we'll put it on the front. We'll figure out a way to connect them together right here. Let's see if these barrels kind of fit together. We are on to something. I'm gonna go eat some food because this has been calling my name all day.
A few moments later.
I did not want to come back in here because I am tired. I think from not using the right tool, my hands are starting to bruise a ton, so that stinks. But we have a soapbox car to build. Before we keep working, as promised, we're going to take this pedal cart, we're gonna test it by riding it down a hill. We have a few things we need to fix to this, and these pedals are smacking me in the leg. So we either have to figure out a way to keep it in neutral or take the pedals off. Another thing is that our steering wheel is a little loose, so we need to get that fixed. To fix our steering wheel issue, that we can just pop this right off, and And then hopefully we can tighten this down and we don't have as much of a problem. See, look, we got instant steering. The next thing we gotta do is make sure this thing stays in neutral. We're just gonna take off the entire chain and like pedal system so that we just don't have to deal with it. Ooh. Oh yes, let's go. Taking off that chain was an absolute pain in the butt. We have such a mess in our garage, but it will be coming together soon. We need to start figuring out how to put that barrel and that barrel onto this cart. So I want to take this barrel and I want to put it onto the cart like so. But the only problem is we don't have that good of places to mount the barrel onto the cart itself. But I am thinking if we can pull this up a little bit, see these little holes right here? I think that we can drill some holes into our barrel and then find a way to either screw it or zip tie them together. So that's gonna be the next thing we're doing. This is our first barrel, but what we have done is we drilled the holes in here and obviously zip tied it. I cut these corners because they were a little sharp and they were hitting my leg. This is actually turning out pretty good so far. And hopefully we don't have any rubbing on the wheels. That has been one of my biggest fears, but it looks like we're doing pretty good. High five. Yeah, hi. Well, this is kind of what it'll look like. But we do have one problem. Our steering, yeah, it's getting blocked. We got these little zip ties which we screwed into our back barrel and our front barrel. We did that. And then on this side, we got one zip tie and then holes for another. But one of our biggest problems is this right here. Our steering is going to be running into the barrel itself. So I'm gonna cut some little holes around the wheels so that it can turn a little bit. Not too shabby. I know it doesn't look like much, but this has taken me all day, but it has been so much fun. The next thing for the Soapbox car is going to be paint. And then somehow we're gonna put antennas right here. So we made another quick trip to Home Depot to get all of the supplies we need to make this thing look awesome. So with us having our tarps, our yellow paint, our black paint, and of course a monster, we only have one day, which is today, to finish the Soapbox car because the race is tomorrow. And I really want to finish the Soapbox car today so that tomorrow we can take it there and see if we can race it down the hill. But the unfortunate thing is that I've never used spray paint, so we're gonna figure this out together. This may be a little bit of overkill, but I do not own my garage, I'm renting it, so better safe than sorry. Look at that, we practically have our own paint studio. I don't have painter's tape, so the next best thing is gonna be duct tape. Now, if this doesn't work, I'll run to Home Depot again and we'll use the painter's tape, but if this does work, we're cooking. This is the moment of truth. We're gonna see if the duct tape worked. It looks amazing. It's definitely not perfect, and if I was painting a house, I would definitely use painter's tape, but for this Soapbox car, that line is looking beautiful. We'll do all the yellow, we'll let it dry, and then we'll start on black. I definitely did too much paint, but I think it's looking pretty good. While I let the yellow paint dry, I found a piece that would work perfect for the antennas. I threw it in our pile of trash and decided to spray paint it. And then we can cut it right down the middle so that we have two antennas to put on each side of the car. The more I think about it, the more I want to black out the wheels, so I think that's what's gonna happen. And it's perfect timing because our paint is just starting to dry. One of the reasons why people use painter's tape, it's because duct tape likes to peel paint. So I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna use this paper and I'm gonna hold it over the yellow parts and then I'll spray black and hope for the best. I think freehanding it is the way to go. It's so much faster. This is looking way better than I could ever imagine. The black lines up front look a little bit better than the ones back here because I did these ones by freehand, but I think I did a pretty good job for never doing this before. And I'm super proud about how this turned out. But like I said, we have the antennas right here, which I will be cutting this in half, and we will essentially be sticking them somewhere right there, and it'll look like a bee. For our wings, you may remember where this piece came from. This came from the cockpit right here, and I gotta say, that looks like a pretty good wing to me. So we're gonna take another part of the barrel, this one actually right here, and we'll line it up and we'll cut around it and throw those wings onto the Soapbox car. As you can tell, it's super late at night, and I don't want to annoy my neighbors by having this thing spin all night cutting into plastic. But the race is tomorrow, so we have to make sure this thing is all done and ready to go so that we can convince someone to let us go down the track. Also, I forgot to mention, these blacked out wheels look so much better. And I also blacked out the steering wheel, so it's looking a lot better. Let's hope that those little details get us into this race.
6.5 hours later.
So the race starts in 2 hours, and the only thing that I've done this morning is cut this in half. We need to figure out a way to put these on here, and then we need to make our wings and also figure out how we're going to attach them to this. I think we did it. Okay, now that looks great. I'm really proud of that. Now we just need to figure out the wings. After you do something once, it just makes it that much easier. Whew. There's our wings. We're in such a time crunch that we're just gonna zip tie these to the body. Okay, I think the antennas and the wings make this thing look 10 times better. So let's load it up in the truck, take it to the race, and see if we can race it down the hill.
We're so close to the race, and it looks like the bee has been holding up pretty well, but I'm excited to see if we can send it down the hill.
Pulling up to the race was a little overwhelming with how many people were there. They even had a list of all the people who made it into the race, with a total of 48 racers. So I grabbed myself a free Red Bull and started heading up to the top of the hill. It took forever going up this hill because there was literally thousands of people, but it was so cool to see all the different builds that people had just flying down the track. And somehow I made it into the pit lane where I could see all of the Soapbox cars before they went down the track. And I gotta say, some of these designs were crazy. It was so cool to see all the creativity. But when I got to the end of the pit lane, it started to set in that I wasn't going to be able to race my car. It was just too busy and they had everything planned out. But I got myself another Red Bull and went to go watch the rest of the race.
I am sad that I didn't get to compete in the actual race, but I do not regret this project one bit. With this project, I learned so many new things that I can apply to so many other projects that I'll have in the future. It was so cool to see everyone's creativity, and the race itself was a blast. Projects like this teach you a lot and are so much fun. So if you're thinking of building a Soapbox car, I definitely recommend it. And getting to watch the race with my friend Matt was so memorable. So if you stuck around this long, make sure you watch this next video. Also, subscribe.
Life is good.